Hello, welcome back to this year engineering crash course. Today we'll be starting the second course of the second module, where we're talking about tokens, temperature, pricing, and max token or max content length. So we'll be defining this word and kind of explaining what they are and how they matter when you consider LLMs. So let's get started. So in the past videos, we did an introduction. We did a simple introduction to prompt engineering. Now we're talking about tokens, and in the next video, we're talking about prompt engineering techniques. So basically, what is a token? A token is a unit of word, a kind of word length, not really word length, but a chunk of text that being used to train models. So we consider while training a model, not a set of words, but a set of tokens. So if we take a text like this, you may see that this is a token, this is a token, this is a token. So usually it's a word. But for specific things like maybe abbreviations or words that may have that you may need to truncate to be able to understand or to be able to extend them based on some specific configuration, you may have to have one word being two tokens actually. So let's just say token is the word in the world of AI. So it's a word in the context of AI. And each different model have a different way of having these tokens. It's actually based on the way you train the model. So if you have the tokenizer that you use define how the token that you pass to the model will be calculated. So you can have two models, but have two different calculations of the number of tokens that this model take. So let me just give you, I think maybe you know this already. This is the ChatGPT tokenizer. So you just have to type OpenAI tokenizer online, and you will see the first link is the tokenizer. Here you will be able to just type any text and get the number of tokens that the text have. So you can see, for example, here that I think it's deleted. So let me just paste this again. That we have here. Okay, you can see that OpenAI is actually two tokens. Normally, you will say it's a word, but in this context, it's actually two tokens. But the rest of the words that we have here are basically just words, words. And you can see that this dot at the end is a token because it's important for the global context of the paragraph. And if you take the word text here with the point, it doesn't make sense, right? You need to have the point alone to be able to fully understand the structure of the sentence. So the tokenization of this text is actually breaking it into tokens. And these tokens are just units that you pass. I think it's defined somewhere here. Sequence of character found in a set of text. Yeah, so you can say it that way, but usually it matched to the amount of words with some kind of adjustment, maybe the word, maybe the punctuations and some words that are divided into multiple tokens. So it's a bit more than the number of words that you have in the text. I think DeepSeek, if I'm not wrong, DeepSeek API has a really good way of stating that somewhere. Let me see. I think it's called token and token usage. You will see that for them, one English character is 0.3 token in their training set. But if you consider here, one character or one word is actually like, you can say a token is like more than 3 characters actually. And you can see here that one English character is actually 0.3 token in your training set. Yes, and if you need to calculate the tokens for Tipsy, you need to download a separate module and use it offline. So, as you can see here, a token is just a way to represent the text into chunk that you will pass to the model. It is not exactly words, but it is a representation of the text in a word way for us. So when we have a sentence, we have a set of words. But when the AI sees the sentence, it sees a set of tokens. And these tokens are defined when you're training the model. So now, what is the max token of the context length? Usually when training the model, the architecture, the transform architecture require a specific fixed input length. So this will be like 128K for most of the model out there. And the issue is when you double it, you may triple or quadruple the price of the model, or just lose the quality of the output. So we need a maximum amount of tokens that you can pass to the model to keep the cost low and also ensure the quality of the output. So that's the reason why you have max token. And for many of these models, It's around 128,000 tokens. So basically more than a book. Not more than a book, like more than a small book, actually. But I think Google just had created a model last year that takes 2 million tokens as input. But the issue with that is also some small misunderstanding of sentence in the middle of the tokens. I think it's called loss in middle, if I'm not wrong. So having a really long context length is good, but it may cause some problems. And the context length is linked to the model training set, and also to cost optimizations and also performance related topics. So now, what is the temperature? So if we come to the playground here, you will see that our model is a probabilistic model. It's actually predicting the next token in a sentence with some kind of probability. And you can put some randomness to this probability, right? And this randomness is represented by the temperature parameter that we have here. So if you say something nice to the subscribers, I don't know, something like this. I don't know if it would say something interesting. It will say hello, wonderful, something kind of, creative. So if I ask the same thing again, yeah, let me just delete this because, okay. So if I ask this again, you will see the text is actually different. So every time you have some kind of randomness in the probabilistic creation of the next token, that makes sure that every time you ask for something, it gets something completely different. So if we reduce this to 0, the temperature to 0, and we ask the same thing here, it says this, right? Keep this in mind, keep shining bright. If we delete this and we ask it again, keep shining bright, you will see that we kind of have somewhere the same structure of sentence that we had before. We delete this and ask it again. You'll see that we get something pretty similar to what we got before, keep shining bright. So it's actually getting around the same sentence over and over again, the same sentences. And yeah, so that's the reason why temperature is important. But now choosing the temperature depends on the use case that you have. If you have a coding use case, you need a really, really low temperature because it's a strict programming language. You don't need a lot of changing in text. You need a strict code output. Same for mathematics and engineering. But if you need creative coding, the temperature needs to be at maximum, at 2 maybe, because you need the model to create new things that each time you ask for a new poem, right? I think DeepSeek has a really good way of placing that. I think you can see it in the API somewhere here, temperature parameter for coding 0, for data cleaning 1, for general conversation 1.3, for translation 1.3, for creative writing 1.5. So you can maybe use it as a set when setting up temperatures, but in general, yeah, you can set it up in the playground here. Same for max token. So I talk about max token as the limit that the model gives you, but you yourself in your app, you can actually define a max token. And this is one of the parameters of the model, right? So you can just say, okay, I want maximum this amount of token for the AI to say, okay, I will limit the response output to this amount of text. I will not go further than that. It can help you reduce costs for use cases where you don't want the model to start saying long text when it doesn't need to. So what about pricing? We talked about tokens. The model is usually priced on a token base. So it means if you have a long context, which means a lot of tokens, you will probably pay more. It depends on the model that you're using. For DeepSeek, you may have a really long input length, but the price is so low that you will not have the price, you will not see the price coming. But same if you go to the latest model of ChatGPT, you may have to pay a bit more. But now when you go to an open source model, you're not really paying for the input token, but the resource that is hosting your model. So now you are not counting the price based on token length, but now based on the infrastructure that's running your model. So that's a consideration you need to have, especially when it comes to hosting the model yourself. We will be talking about that later in the video. Yeah, so, but in general, pricing calculation is based on token lengths when you use external API providers. Yeah. So I think that's all for this video. We went through the specific terms that you may need to understand while just playing around with LLMs or just trying to understand the concepts. Yeah, so in the next video, we will talk about prompt engineering techniques that you may use while coding or while using AI app in general. And yeah, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment below. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Peace.